You got to help me out here. Since when is prayer a crime, even worthy of jail time in the U.S.? Get this. In Florida, the Santa Rosa County School District bans its employees from praying. I'm talking teachers can't even bow their heads at the lunch table and pray silently over a meal. Well, new today, a high school principal and athletic director facing criminal charges of contempt. Their alleged crime? Giving thanks for a meal at a luncheon in January. Now, this was on school property, but after hours, and their lawyer says students were not there. They could face 6 months behind bars for a prayer. We'll take your calls. 1-877-TEL-HLN is the number. Joining me to talk about it, Matt Staver, attorney for the principal and the athletic director. And also with us, Glenn Caton, director for the ACLU's Religious Freedom Project. Well, Matt, let me start with you. How could it be criminal to pray in this case?
Well, that's the outrageous issue that we're facing in this case. And it's not the school that's banning. It's a order that's in effect that is approved by the court in this case. And it's so broad that it literally limits free speech and any kind of religious activity, including even assenting to someone else's religious activity after school on campus or even after school off campus. 9 days after this order was entered into, the principal, Frank Lay, and the athletic director, Robert Freeman, were hosting a luncheon to honor boosters who had contributed for an athletic field house. Only a handful of school officials were there. The rest of them were private individuals from the community who had contributed as part of the Boosters Club. And Principal Lay looked over to the athletic director and asked him if he would just simply bless the meal, which he did. Very short, normal blessing of a meal. Never in their wildest imagination would they imagine that they would now be targets of criminal contempt, which faces $5,000 in fines up to 6 months in jail, and possibly even losing their retirement benefits. One of them has worked for the school district for 30 years and the other 40 years. And now they're facing this unbelievable situation.
Okay, let's bring Glenn in on this. So, Glenn, do they deserve jail time for saying grace? That's what we're hearing here.
Well, the ACLU certainly has never taken a position that anyone in this case deserves to be in jail. The federal judge herself is the one who initiated these contempt proceedings, and we're basically on the sidelines in terms of criminal contempt. But the important part of this that Mr. Staver hasn't mentioned and really hasn't been covered is the context in which this whole proceeding developed. There were pervasive and persistent problems in this school district with the principal, with school administrators, forcing their religious beliefs on students and other faculty. In that context, the attorney for the school district, Mr. Lay's attorney, and the attorneys for the ACLU agreed on the entry of a preliminary injunction that the judge approved. And that preliminary injunction prevented the principal and others from using their official position to say prayers. You know, whoever it is that they believe in God, they shouldn't be praying and espousing those views in the context of school events. It was very simple. And it appears from the evidence that Principal Lay brazenly violated that by encouraging the athletic director to give a prayer in a school event that involved students and faculty who were present.
Well, so now we got to Matt says there were no students there. You're saying there were students there.
Well, it's not.
Are we going to agree to disagree on that, or what?
No, there was no students there. This was not a student event. There were students that were making the meal in the cafeteria, separated from this particular event. This was an event for adults. No school students were there. This was not for the school students. And in fact, it's the ACLU, after this preliminary injunction was entered, that went to the court and they said that they believe that Principal Lay and the athletic director should be held in contempt. They are the ones who raised the contempt issue, and that's why we're here. And the ACLU could clearly stop this thing if they really did not want to have people prosecuted for prayer. But I don't see them coming forth and filing documents saying this goes too far, this is not what we intended. They're the ones who brought up the contempt issue to the court.
Let's get a call in real quick. Kelly's with us in North Carolina. Kelly, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I just think this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what kind of civilization this world has come to where the fact that we cannot pray where we'd like to pray at, whether it's for a meal, whether it's for, something to do with our families, our religious beliefs, whatever the case may be. I honestly believe that this world has gone downhill really quickly. And if they're going to arrest these fellas for praying, you might as well come arrest me, because I pray every day in public, in the hallways of where I attend college. I mean, everywhere. So you might as well just come on over here to North Carolina and arrest me right along with them. And I just honestly believe somebody needs to do something about this. This is ridiculous.
Kelly, thanks for the call.